Hi YouTube, it's Bible Girl, and it's in the VEDA. Today, I wanted to talk to you for a little bit about my job and how very different it's been over the last year. So, for those of you who don't know, I am part of ministerial staff at my church. Up until just very recently, I was over birth through 6th grade. Currently, I was waiting for Easter to be over just because the insanity that is Easter. But very soon I'm going to be starting doing stuff with youth ministry, and I'm pretty excited, but that's a different video. So what happened with my job? What happened with children's ministry? I mean, I'm going to start by saying I'm thankful I still have a job. The insanity of it all, my husband works for Disney, one of the biggest corporations in the world. And I would have always thought that my paycheck at the very small church would disappear before his. And he was furloughed for a really, really long time. And it's still technically furloughed right now. But, you know, that should be changing soon. But it was surprising that, you know, hours were cut. But I always got some kind of paycheck. So that's a blessing. But in the midst of all this, I went from, you know, a very in-person kind of setup. I mean, my job was to prep and plan and empower my volunteers. And I went from that to, okay, we were supposed to have church on Saturday for Sunday, and then Saturday night I got a phone call saying we're not. So very last minute it was, okay, let's make a video. And I have been posting videos. I mean, like, you can see it on my channel every week since all this started. And some weeks are better than others. And, you know, if you're watching this, I'm sure you see the view count. I do not get a bajillion views. I get a couple hits on my YouTube when I post these videos. I get more on the church Facebook for the videos. There are many weeks that it's like 40 people tops under the views that have watched it in any length of it. But my church is very small, and prior to COVID, you know, like having 40 people in grown-up church was not unheard of. And I've had weeks with like 2,000 views, which is, you know, amazing. Being able to reach people that I never would have reached before. But so I started with videos, and I also moved from just videos to mail, and I do a lot of things through mail. I know some people watch the videos, but a lot of people are just over videos. They're over Zoom. I tried to do some like random Zoom stuff, and for the most part it did not work very well. People are over Zoom. People are over videos. That's everything you do now. And some of my families at the church, they just, you know, financially are not in the same space other people are. So they don't have enough devices sometimes to even do that. So I mail stuff. And it started out like a letter a week, and it had some kind of craft. I kind of went in Oriental trading, went, what crafts are cheap? And I'm just going to buy them. And I, like, for a couple of months, I just situated everything I did under that idea, like, what craft can I get to touch to it? And then eventually I went back to the idea of series and tailoring things when I wasn't in such a rush to do things and I could plan it, figuring out this whole pandemic thing is going to actually last a little while. But yeah, I started by sending one letter a week out to the kids, to moving to packets. So I usually send out a packet. I've either done it for the month or for the series, depending on the length of the series and the amount of stuff I need to stick in there. And what I love about my packets is it empowers the parents to do stuff. I have no idea if parents are really doing all the devotional stuff that I include in there. I just don't know. But I do know that the activities, which are supposed to reinforce what we're doing, I mean, they have reached people. I've been blessed to get stuff out to kids away from my church. I mean, we're a small church, and try as I might with different events and stuff like that, we just don't always get the opportunity to outreach. There are bigger churches in our neighborhood. They draw more people. It's just kind of how it goes. And that's fine to an extent, but this year of mailing stuff out and doing things, I know I have reached people I would have never considered reaching out to or connecting to. There are kids that haven't been to our church in ages, and they're a part of this process. They get the mail, they're excited about it, they do stuff with their families. There are kids that have literally never walked into a church, which is the people that make me so excited. And like, I hear from their family that they are in love with the activities and having their little Jesus and stuff like that. And it's a seed. I have a feeling they're not going deep into the devotional stuff, but it's a seed. And in the midst of things being difficult and scary and stressful and hard, I mean, I know some of those kids that they've had COVID and have still gotten this stuff in the mail. I've mailed stuff out to houses, kids with COVID, and even if all they're seeing about Jesus is his name on a craft, they're equating Jesus, God, to love. And I'm excited about those seeds. I think that's the coolest thing that has happened in the midst of all of this. But not just that. I mean, I don't reach into just our community anymore. Our children's ministry is in California, where our church is, and it's in multiple like towns and counties. I think I'm mailing stuff out to 3 counties in California, which is beautiful. Multiple families. I mail stuff out to a kid I've never met. I mail stuff out to kids in Texas, multiple families in Texas. I mail stuff out to kids in North Carolina that are a military family, and they moved at the start of COVID and have no church connection there at all. I miss hugging my kids. I miss my high fives, and I miss seeing them in person, being able to sit with them and to talk and to pray. And like, we try to do that to an extent, but it's not the same. But I'm so happy that God has used this time to impact kids that I wouldn't have thought to talk to, that I wouldn't have taken that step. I'm going to try to get a hold of some teenagers who I wouldn't have done this with youth group being the way it was before. And I'm going to see who can I impact just out of my circle, and who can those people pass on to. But yeah, I've been able to do that stuff. And along with that, I have had, some events via Zoom, and like amazingly, the equivalency of what we were replacing in person, I never had that many kids show up. And we were getting kids that don't attend our church coming on a Zoom event. So that's so cool and so special. And we've done it that way. And we started doing, we do church via Zoom right now. We're still not in person. waiting for the day, but we've had breakout sessions with the kids from the main church meeting, and I know not any one thing that I'm doing even impacts the whole of our church, our small church body, but I know, and it can be hard and frustrating. You look at video counts, like I work really hard on my videos for church. Like I've sought out like permission to do music. I've sought out stuff. I've paid subscription fees to things like story blocks so I can get stuff out and make it better and make it cooler and more watchable. And you know, when you only get a handful of views, it can be hard, but I go back to thinking about when I was at my home church, the church that raised me and brought me up in the Lord that I was saved at. You know, I literally taught a Sunday school class for one kid. It was a big church. It just was an 8 o'clock service in the morning, and it was not very much attended by children. The parents usually came to the later two services. And it was more kids when I started, but it dropped down to one kid. And I always was happy to have that class with that one kid. And I feel that way about, you know, the videos and everything. Like, if one kid is watching it, and, you know, sometimes that might just be mine, but if one kid is watching it, or one kid is doing the crafts, or one family is going through the devotional program that I write, then that one kid, that one family is impacted for Christ. And that's all that matters. So ministry is a weird job because it's not about you climbing up the ladder or money or anything. Like, I did not go into a field. I was concerned about money. But God has worked through this time to impact kids through the ministry that I lead. I've also got to see, I mean, my volunteer staff has dropped because we're not doing a lot, and, you know, it's kind of crazy this time for volunteers to help out with things. But if you watch any of the kids, I've seen two of my high school volunteers, my teen volunteers, just step up, and I get a lot out of their contributions to the videos, and I'm blessed to have them be a part of the team. And my husband has been, he'll say he's not a volunteer, but, you know, he is, and every week he is doing that silly puppet and he's voicing it, and I'm blessed to be part of a team and to have them step alongside with me, and I'm very thankful for it. So that's just a little sneak into what is it like doing children's ministry in a pandemic. I'm really hoping very soon it can change to steps to be in person, but right now this is where we're at, and I'm blessed to be a part of it and to be included in God's mission. Alright guys, I'll see you tomorrow from VEDA. Bye.